So, next up on stage is Nicola. Okay. Okay,
so I need to
on
press
the
that
screen,
button,
and then just use the slides.
thank
The
you.
clicker doesn't. You can use the pointer, but not the clickers.
So sorry, when I press that, it's going to click on that.
Yeah.
Great, awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, this isn't terrifying. Last week I was actually in the Pacific with sharks, and now I'm amongst lots of people. It's a little bit intimidating, but it's nice to meet you. So whilst I have my brag page, also known as an introduction, I really, really want some friends. So if you would like to connect with me, I do have a QR code, so feel free to grab your phone and find your way to connect with me. So who am I? My name is Nicola Graham. I am a business change manager, and I'm also a published author. I actually started my career in IT many years ago. Funny enough, I consider myself one of the movements of women in technology. So I like to think of myself as the tech version of Spice Girls. I didn't think that would go down very well. Funny enough, I used to be in sales. And those were the days when you used to have the good old fun times of selling your on-prem servers and the support services with them and things like that. I know, I don't look that old, thanks. I moved into project management space, and I've done lots of different projects within my career, including SaaS solutions, in-house developments. I've even been an infrastructure PM for an NHS hospital, and I can tell you some really interesting stories about that one. I then decided at some point in my career to get my sales experience and my project management experience, and I become a business change manager. I've worked in the top force. I've worked for the local government. I've worked across lots of different industries, including property development, banks, gas and oil firms, crop science, organisations for both UK and global firms. So I like to consider myself quite experienced in what I do. I today run my own company called Be Change Limited. I'm the managing director, and the objective of what I wanted to achieve is I truly feel that we can run projects differently within tech space. I feel that there is a need of a change, and that is what I'd like to talk to you about today. So thank you for having me present. It's not obviously as technical as the last ones. I'm sorry I'm going to take you 45 minutes, but I promise you get coffee after, okay? But hopefully my story is going to resonate with you or with your colleagues. Before we begin, I thought we could kind of get a little bit of a warm-up, and I do need voices. And I just want to explain that due to anti-bribery clauses, I will not be offering prizes except the pride that you have it right. So I'm going to put some pictures up on there, and what I'm going to ask you to do is just shout out what you think the product is and what year it was launched. Okay? You ready to play? Good. What is this? Great, great, great. And the year? 99. Anyone else? Okay. That actually was 2002 when it was launched. Yep. Good old BlackBerry. Next one. What's this? Come on. Okay, put your hands up if you have drawn a picture and sent a fax to one of your friends, the old version of text messaging. Thank you. I knew there'd be people in the room. And the year. Try and guess the year. 76. Anyone else? 82. Oof. 1964, Xerox fax machine. Right, are you ready for the next one? What is that? Really excited. What is that? We haven't had a Commodore yet. Have we had a Commodore? Okay, I'm going to put you out of your misery. That is the very first laptop, actually by Epson. I was quite impressed when I found that one. Of course, I could not do this presentation without having one of the main men up. Who's this man and what's he holding? And the year? 97? 2012. Close, we're getting closer, Spencer. 2010. First generation iPads. And my last one, this person has a really great name, by the way. What is that? Okay. That, my friends, is the experimental telephone by the main man, Alexander Graham Bell. So thank you for that. I thought we'd just have a little bit of fun, and you've obviously learned some new things today. So confessions, I have become a fan of ChatGPT, and I've actually asked for the support of that. Not that I've asked them to write anything for me, but we're doing images from ChatGPT. This is going to be very entertaining, I promise, because the images are a little bit glitchy. I asked ChatGPT, hey, can you create me an image of an end-user desk from 2000? And this is what I got. Hands up here who feels that they recognise that as a desk they've sat at some point in their careers. Come on, don't be shy. We all know that we're old enough, right? Okay, and this thing down here, this is actually my floppy disk from a child. I found it in my parents' cupboards recently. So if anyone has a way to read that for me, please let me know. Come and see me after, because I have no idea what's on it. What about Windows 2000? The good old millennium, the excitement of the millennium. So we've got it, guys, right? We're looking at an end-user desktop. We've got desktop computers. You've got your old CRT monitors that used to smack on the side, floppy disks, CD-ROMs, dot matrix printers, landline telephones, fax machines, and lots of paper items. Your calendars, notebooks, post-it notes, folders, papers, you name it, you've got it. What's coming next? So obviously, what we're now looking at is, the end-user desk from the 2024. Now, again, ChatGPT's interpretation, I don't know about you, but I don't have a desk that particularly looks that funky. But you know what, we're going to go with it anyway. And let's forget about the hardware for a moment. Can we pay attention to the different operating systems that are now available in 2024 compared to 24 years ago, right? So there's a lot more competition, a lot more changes that have come about. And what about this thing? The cloud, the physical cloud that used to float amongst our heads and magic files went up there. There's been a massive change to the way that we're running our end users today. We're now looking at ultra-thin laptops, widescreen high-res monitors, smart desks, wireless charging stations, VR, AR, noise-cancelling headphones, hybrid working. We've got it all. And most importantly, we've got cloud storage, which means we can use any device, anywhere, anytime. Might have been a Microsoft quote, sorry. Okay. I'd like to introduce you to my friend Jane. This is Jane. Jane started her career as a personal assistant, and in the year of 2000, she turned 25 years of age. And this, again, is the interpretation of ChatGPT's version of a female. Jane obviously has a very demanding job. She's had a very demanding job from the moment she started. But let's look at the difference of Jane's life between 24 years. So as you can see, we've got, oh, and by the way, I apologise, we've got a hallucination in this one, so spot the error in the images. Obviously, Jane, yeah, apparently this one's in 2,224. So Jane in 2000 obviously had a certain way of life. She had a lot of things going on at her desk. She had a lot of things to do manually, perhaps a lot of errors that she could make in certain ways due to losing papers, for example, or filing things wrong. And then we've got the 49-year-old version of Jane, who looks fantastic for her age. Obviously in 2024, her life has changed dramatically. Absolutely dramatically, and the things that she must have seen in those 24 years, they're huge, right? Especially when we're talking about the era of digital disruption. Just the last hour with you guys, look how much it's changed, look how much it's evolved for us in IT. Imagine what Jane's gone through as an end user. How does this slide make you feel? All those yellow go lives, all of the conflicting messages that she's receiving. Poor Jane, every day she's receiving different communications, different changes to her role. And actually what she wants to do is do her job. Okay, and maybe this gets harder for Jane as she gets in her later years of life. Constant change is fatiguing for somebody. They start resisting it a lot more. I've got a true story for you. I was once working in an organisation where we were doing, or a project team were doing, a migration from on-prem to Outlook, okay? And I was witness to see a managing director slam a door shut to the IT project manager who was doing that deployment. Okay, I don't agree with that level of aggression. You know, it could have been a different way. But he was so frustrated with that man because what happened is during that migration, they'd made an error specifically with his personal assistant, right? They'd not quite realised that she had all these different shared inboxes. They didn't give her enough engagement and instructions. And quite frankly, they left her in a space where she couldn't really do her job for a week. So, you know that whole saying of happy wife, happy life? It goes the same with an MD and his PA, right? He was really, really, really upset. And it was really, really unfair because actually these guys were doing a really great job. They were actually doing the migration in the earlier stages of the move to cloud. So the complexity of this project was really, really insane. And they had a really great result, but they just disrupted that one person. And because of that, the MD wrote them off. He thought that the project team were useless. And it wasn't fair. Because the reality is they had done a good job. We have business people frustrated every day because we continuously throw change at them. And it's got to change. Why does this happen? Project managers focus on 3 areas: time, quality, and cost. But seldom do they take people on the journey with them. Now, I, in my career, have witnessed and interviewed many project managers. Hey, so, you know, what do you do from an engagement perspective when it comes to your business people? And these are the kind of conversations I have. Now, for those who understand projects, I've got a very basic waterfall here for you. This is 5 stages, and the lines represent the stage gates. So obviously, during a governance, we'll tick off the deliverables that we need to achieve to move into the next stage. So when I speak to project managers, they will tell me, oh, yeah, I have some meetings with some senior stakeholders. We speak about business requirements in a workshop. Big question mark as to whether they have the right people in that workshop from the start. We also, we have a communications plan. Of course, we've got a communication plan. No, they have a T-. And for those who will understand what T- is, it's we go live here. In 2 weeks before, we're going to send you some communications. And those communications tend to be in the email form. Sometimes they might involve a trainer. It depends on how complex the project is. We'll do some user acceptance testing, so we might engage with a few more people during the build phase. And then when we're going into the live, that's when we deploy our emails. That's when we give optional training provided. Who here has actually put training on every lunchtime, let's say, to help the end users, but they've never showed up to it? Had that experience? Yeah. That's because they don't know about it. It's simple as, they don't know about it. 2% of people will read an email from a project team. But I want you to hold on to that because I'm coming back to that in a moment. So as Jerry Maguire says, show me the money. Let's talk about return on investment. Every project will have a return on investment. And that can be anything. It can be money, it can be time, quality, assurance. There will be a benefit, there will be a reason you're doing these rollouts. There'll be a reason to these projects. But guys, the business are fatigued. They're fed up with the changes. They're fed up with continuous evolution. So they start to get really frustrated with you. They start slamming those doors. And then what that means is Jane and her colleague, they're not happy. And rather than actually embrace the new things that come into them, they start to resist them. They start to refuse them. Sometimes they even start to sabotage them because they're rejecting them. And then your return on investment goes down. You don't actually get a return on investment. Why? Because you're having to keep 2 servers running at the same time, or you're having to have double licenses or additional support for people. You can't actually get the benefits that you thought you'd needed. Then what happens is Spice Girl Nick comes here, parachuting into those failing projects, and then I start to try and turn them round. I start to engage with the business. Sometimes I don't even admit that I'm part of the IT team, because I'm literally having to try and prise these slammed doors shut. And then you start to see people embrace the change and they want to start to use the change, and then you can start seeing that growth curve that I'm displaying there. But what if we started to get project teams to take accountability of these activities sooner? What would it look like? Could we improve our return on investments? The truth is we could, because if we embrace people and we take them on the journey from the very start of our life cycles of a project, they will be ready for that change when it goes to go live. So you have a better chance of actually making true return on investment. How does that look for our social credibility? You're engineers. I know you like some stats. Let's give you some. 70% of projects will fail if you miss that vital element, which is engaging the people. 22% of organisations, only 22%, involve a change manager in their projects. 92% of organisations say that they've actually improved the success by doing easy-to-follow adoption activities. And 50% of organisations, they don't effectively address the impact of change. And there are three main challenges here. First, project. There's an inadequate recognition and understanding of what change management is. We do the fluffy stuff. The resource. Who here has the budget for a whole change management team? Budgets get cut, costs are going down, we have staffing constraints. And time. We tend to be in more of an agile environment here. So do we really have the time to onboard a whole team and get them ready and get them up to speed? It's all go, 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 next rollout. ChatGPT did this to me. Can anyone guess what quote I'm asking ChatGPT to give me there? Cast a net? Anyone else? Don't, I've just been diving with jellies, they're awesome. Give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. Do you recognise, does that resonate with you, that quote? So, give a project a change manager and it will improve that project's return on investments. But if you teach a project manager to apply change activities, he'll improve all of his ROIs. So what is the solution? Become part of the 30% that actually succeed because they involve and engage the people. Your challenge is project, your solution is awareness. Start raising awareness within your organisations, from senior teams to the project teams, as to why change management is crucial to the success of a project. Resource, you can upskill people. Reduce the need for that change team by empowering project teams to actually feel confident enough to take on the activities, or some of the activities required to engage the people. And time, keep it lightweight, make it easy to follow with simple processes so that they can continuously evolve that rapid environment that they're used to working in. I'd like to give you a takeaway, a really good example. Again, this is now a different version of Jane. A good example that you can start with is is emails. Now, I hate emails. So first and foremost, let's talk about the accessibility of emails. Not everyone reads an email the right way. They misconstrue the information. And also, if you're dyslexic, those words are popping out of the screen right now to you. Okay, so you've got to think that not everyone's going to be able to digest that email. 2% of people read an email from a project team. Yep, I told you I was going to come back to that. So 2% of your audience are reading an email, and then we tend to write emails that look like this. They look like a service delivery email. There's too much information. We all love our acronyms here, but the end users, they don't understand that. If we put end users in today's presentation, everything you've just spoken about will go right over their head, okay? They don't speak our language, so our emails cannot be in our language. I mean, we really do send our comms out like this, and they just don't get read. Ooh. You can switch that around very quickly. It's just changing and tweaking a few of the things that you do. If you think like a marketeer will write an email where they will have the biggest part around grabbing attention. Think about what's going to grab that hook, what's going to inspire somebody. For example, would you like faster emails that you can access from anywhere? Yeah, I do. I'm going to read more. Then you want to build that anticipation. You want to start to give them a little bit more of what's happening and the nuggets around that. And then you can do your call to actions and give them some good links that they can click through and learn more about that product. And then considering 69% of our colleagues will read an email from a manager of their line managers, don't send this out, give it to your line managers. Ask them to send it out for you. I mean, I don't know what the other 30-odd% is doing, by the way. Clearly not reading any emails. But This is a simple trick, just one little thing that you can change today that will make a massive difference to the way that people start to engage with you better. I created a solution. I mentioned at the start that obviously I've wanted to change the world of change and change the way that we deliver projects. I actually wrote a book, created a methodology, and my solution, the way I wanted to focus it was to upskill project managers so that they can do lightweight change activities, but also give them the tools and the tricks that they need so that they can start to do them simply. I then wanted to make sure that you could elevate the importance of change management within an organisation, so it's creating that awareness that we need. And then what I wanted to do was make sure that it could overlay into your existing PMO frameworks so that you get that correct support and governance along the way. So my takeaway for you today is whatever activities that you can inspire your project managers to do to help engage the people, ensure that they are embedded into your framework. Now that could be this example here, which is a waterfall. So every stage, I like to say actually that, and being a PM myself previously, the best PMs are the laziest, right? So we don't want to do stuff. But you need to make sure that they are doing the activities that's required to get them through the stage gate. So by ensuring that you add these change activities into each part of the life cycle, asking your PMO and your management to support that, you're going to have those. You're more likely to have better outcomes. And that can apply into anything. If you're working in an agile environment, you can continuously do engagement along the journey and along your different tranches when it comes to your agile. Another example for you, take home if you will. Key stakeholders. So we start a project and everyone has a key stakeholder, and I mean, raise your hand if it's happened to you, but I've had key stakeholders that don't even really know what the project is. They've just been assigned it, their name's been put there, okay? And then what happens is you go through this entire project, it gets to the launch, and because we haven't engaged that key stakeholder at the very start, they haven't put the right people in that workshop, or that we haven't actually built the product or configured it in a way that they need, and the project gets paused because we have to go back and we have to address it or change it, or it gets canned, one or the other. There are simple things that you can do, and it's understanding your key stakeholders. It's, for example, I have an assessment that I send out, or I interview. It depends on the size of your company, where you can ask them questions and understand what kind of engagement and feelings they have towards your project. And from that, you can then go ahead and plot those and give them a nice colour-coded chart. So obviously we've got this RAG status on the side here. And as you can see, you can then start to tell who's engaged in your project and who might need a little bit more support. We're not doing a full-time change management role here. We're asking a project team to take on some of the roles. So just from here, we're asking a project person now to engage with one person. Who do you think that would be? Kay Brownfield? Because if we engage Kay, and all of a sudden we can get her on board to this project, everyone that reports into her will more likely know about it. They're certainly going to go amber from red. So immediately you can start to spread the word a lot quicker by understanding who you need to talk to. Another example is success criteria. In project space, we always have success criteria. We need to understand exactly what the benefits are going to be. We don't often quantify what kind of, scary Jane, we don't often quantify what kind of success we expect from the business to take it on. We kind of go, yeah, well, we obviously want people to use it, but we don't really quantify that in the right way. So another thing that you can do is you can understand how people feel about your project, if they understand your project, and if they're competent to use your project or your product at the start. So before go live, you can ask them a simple based set of questions. And at the end, you can ask them the exact same questions. And from that, what you'd want to see is an expanded triangle. So in this example, Jane is actually feeling a lot more comfortable about using the product that you're introducing to her, but maybe she doesn't. Maybe actually her triangle hasn't changed. Then rather than having to go out to the masses and retrain or try and support them, you can target individuals as their needs go about. So I don't know what I'm doing for time. I think I'm okay. But my closing notes for you today. Number 1, business colleagues matter. Don't assume that your project will succeed without them. Decide on the deliverables suitable to the type and the size of the project that you're doing. In my methodology, I go through lots of different ideas and things that you can use, but if you're running a very quick project, you might just need 1 or 2 or 3 things that you need to embrace in that project. So make sure that it's not overcomplicated for the size of the project. Ensure you divvy the accountability across the team based on strengths. Again, this is not just highlighting one person and say, you go and do this. You've got lots of people with their different resources, not just in your project team, but also in your companies. It might be that you want the communication team to help you write the emails, for example, or maybe you've got an L&D department or a HR person that can help you with the training side of things. But you really can start to divvy up the accountabilities. Be sure to work with your PMOs and or management, depends on the size of the company, to standardise and govern the expected deliverables. That's to ensure that we do these activities we're expected to do in projects. Keep it simple, provide, like I said, we're lazy project managers, we need templates and guidelines, we just need it really easy for us to do. And the final thing is, I've got a bunch of books here today, so feel free to grab a book, which obviously I've got lots more tips and tricks that I've gone through today, and you can maybe utilise some of my own change activities in your own. And if no one takes the books, I'm probably going to cry. So, so that's it for me. Thank you. Again, come on, please be my friend. Who has questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
I was quite shocked by the statistic, 22% of projects bring on change control.
Yes.
Now, in my experience working on like large projects, like there's a lot of companies like the exercise, like ITIL, and change control is like really like at the forefront.
Yep.
And when I seen 22%, it made me ask the question like straight away. It was like, well, where's that data? Like, what's the sector
Yep.
you focusing that data on? Because those, I think, like, I was just shocked by 22%.
And when you say change control, are you referring to change project change, or are you referring to business change?
Project change. Yeah.
So in project change, obviously this is, if there is a change to the project, there will be an evolution. That statistic is based on people who are using business change. So business change is more around actually supporting the end user, taking people on that journey. The statistics, I've actually got an appendix, and they will be in there somewhere, that one. I knew somebody would pull me up on it. So I can probably, let me div it out and we can have a look at the, there's all sorts of, yeah.
Make a note, we're asking questions on that phone.
I'm like, do you notice I click back off?
Yeah.
I asked ChatGPT to write that one for me, it's fine.
I mean, did this shock anyone else, like 22%? Like, I was like,
more business than technical. You know, we would expect change control in any technical project, but it's that change, business change is the piece that's missing.
Yeah, absolutely it is, and it's very confusing with the two terminologies. And I have a YouTube channel. I think at one point I tried to explain the difference between business change management and change management, change control, because often people think I do a different job, but I'm definitely much more into the people side, even though I prefer the fish, and there's way too many of you. But thank you for your question. Anyone else for questions? What have I got time-wise? I think we're done. Well, thank you very much.